morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Take a Stand. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson. Today, we've got a little bit of a change to our regular schedule. We were going to have Vivian Glick on with us today, and we're going to have her a little bit later. So she'll be back in probably a month or so's time, and you want to make sure that you actually watch that show when we finally get to have Vivian on, because I've just read all of her backstory. I've done a lot of research on her, and boy, oh boy, when we finally get her on the show, you are going to be in for an absolute treat. So, in lieu of that today, because we're live, we can go live whenever we like, right? So, instead of having our live show with Vivian today, I've decided that I actually wanted to take you guys through the three fundamental things that I think are going to really help make you or break you as a business owner. There's three fundamental things inside of the book, The She Myth. We talk a lot about, there's about 12 or 13 different skill sets that you will need to really apply to you and your business to ensure that you have all-round success, I should say. And I've picked three of these things that I want to talk to you guys about today, because in my opinion, they are sometimes the three hardest things for most business owners, women, to really adapt, adopt, and start doing on a regular basis in their business. So as I unfold these three, I'm sure you're going to say, yeah, Trace, those are the three that, often we find the most difficult. So hang about as I sort of unfold and uncover all of those for you. For those of you who are joining for the very first time on the Take a Stand show, this is live. I am here live right now. I can talk to you guys as you type to me in the comment section. So if you're watching right now on Facebook or YouTube, you can type to me. So if you've got a question about business or a question about the book, The She Myth, and if you have not got your hands on a copy of it by now, then what have you been waiting for? You need to head on over to Amazon and look up The She Myth. It's a best-selling book, and you want to make sure that you get yourself your hands on it. The feedback we've had about the book has been phenomenal, and I know that it's starting to change the lives of many, many women all over the world. So I want to make sure that you get your hands on it too. So you can find it over at Amazon.com. Anyhow, let's get stuck into these. So as a businesswoman, and when we're starting out in business, we often, one of these three, like I said, three fundamental places that most people kind of trip up. And I have highlighted these out of the book, and I want to talk about them on the show today because I think they are extremely important. Because without these three things, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good your service, your product is. You can find yourself kind of stepping into the zone of, I'm going to say, even imposter syndrome. These three things can start and enhance the feeling of imposter syndrome if you do not harness these and you do not embed them firmly into your business. And also from a mindset point of view, just really embrace the fact that you need to be doing these three things to be successful. So let's get kicked in. And like I said, there are 13 of these. We talk about them all inside of the She Myth book. The three that I'm going to talk to you about today are extremely important. So let's start with this. The first is sales skills. And I know that a lot of people, not just women, often say to me, oh, I'm just not good at sales. I'm just not good at sales. So let's talk about that, because if you have the mindset that I'm not good at sales, that often can translate into your conversations with other people. And you need to have the ability, particularly if you're starting out in business, you need to adopt and adapt some skill set around sales. And it has been given a really bad rap over many, many decades that, being a salesperson can be sleazy. It can be, not nice. You're pushing products onto people. But here's the thing. With whatever it is that you've created, whether it's a product or a service, if you absolutely believe in it, and you believe in it 150%, and you know that that product and or service that you have created is going to make a difference to somebody else, it is going to make a difference in their life, it is something that maybe it has made a difference to your own life, then we have a right, we have an obligation, I should say, to actually sell it to other people. We need to offer that and make it available to others. Because here's the thing, if you don't, and you've got a whole bunch of people out there that are sitting in pain right now and they need your product and your service, then they're going to go and find it from somewhere else. Those people are going to use the money because there is money out there for people to spend. They are spending it on products and services. And if not yours, then whose is the question that I would ask. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, people who purchase things that they don't necessarily want, or that they don't necessarily want on a daily basis. For example, we're in the height of a pandemic right now. A lot of people are going to go and get their needle. They're going to go and get vaccinated because they know they feel that they have a need for that. Does anybody want it? No way. No way did anybody wake up in the morning and say, heck, today's the day. I am just so excited about going and lining up at the doctor's surgery to go and get my arm jabbed and full of a vaccine. So nobody says that. So if that's the case, and there's people lining up at the doctor's offices on a regular basis, ready and willing to pay money for something that they don't necessarily want, then that just proves the point that there are people out there that are going to be willing to actually pay for your product and service. However, the product and service that you've created is going to be something that is going to be, hopefully is going to be enjoyable, that people are going to want, and that is actually something that they need and is going to make a huge difference to their life. So sales skills, or your ability to be able to sell to people, is going to be one of the things that is going to make a fundamental difference to you and your business moving forward. Because if you cannot sell your business and you cannot sell your products and services, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to train somebody else to do so. Because if you're the one that's created it, you are probably the one and the person who is the most passionate about it. So my advice to you is, if you're saying to yourself right now, oh, I just don't like sales, or oh, I'm not good at it, then I would go and I would recommend that you find yourself a mentor to actually help you with the sales process and ensure that you are actually able to take that sales process to the next level, and ensure that you're able to do that on a regular basis. Okay, so that's point number one. Number one skill that you need to adopt and you need to become good at, particularly if you're the only person in your business, you're a one-man band, a freelancer, or a consultant, you need to get very good at sales, right? The next skill set that I think you need to adopt is your ability to be able to speak, right? So on a situation like this, or on stage, or even being at a networking event for that matter, and you're speaking to just one person, you want to get really, really comfortable with that. You want to get comfortable with being able to speak really quickly and easily. For example, today I was planned to have a show with a guest. I was set, ready to go, waiting to have the guest here. And unfortunately, through no fault of her own, she's unable to make it today. So what has to happen? You've got to pivot really, really quickly. So you learning the skill of being able to speak at a moment's notice is going to hold you in good stead. You being able to step up on a stage when that moment arises, when somebody says, hey, we've got a gap in our schedule and we are looking for somebody to speak right now with your products and your services, then you are going to be able to put your hand up and say, I can do that. I can speak on that topic at a drop of a hat. So like I said today, when I was planned to have a completely different show and had to pivot really, really quickly within about 2 minutes, it's like, okay, what could I talk about today? What would be really valuable for our audience, or the audience of Take a Stand, to listen to? What could I speak to them about? So really quickly, could I go into my vault and say, well, what could I speak about? Knowing the structure, knowing how to put something together and be able to speak about it confidently. So having that particular skill will also hold you in good stead. You are going to be able to get up and speak in public at the drop of a hat. And you want to think about your ability to be able to speak in public at the drop of a hat as a way of being able to add another layer of marketing and promotion to your business, right? So it's a way of being able to market yourself without necessarily having to pay a whole lot of money. I was able to switch it up, switch this topic, talk about it. In a matter of 2 minutes, the decision was made. What am I going to talk about? Here's 3 things that I could talk about on my show. Boom, get the show ready to go and And here we are live talking about these three things. So your ability to be able to sell, your ability to be able to speak in public confidently with a topic that is relevant to your audience and relevant to showcase your skills and your expertise is really, really important. So that's the second thing, having the ability to be able to adopt and grow into yourself and being able to speak really confidently when you need to, if the time arose and you had to do it at the drop of the hat. So that would be the next thing that I would say is really, really important for you, because the time will come where there is an opportunity and somebody will ask, hey, who can speak on this topic? And if you have already adopted that skill set, you can say, I can, and I can be there and I can step up on that stage and do it right now. So that would be the next thing that I would say would be the second thing that I would encourage you to adopt and to develop in your skill set as a business owner. Now, the third thing I want to say here, and this is a little bit off the beaten track, I'm going to say, in comparison to those two that I've just covered, but I think this one is the most important of them all, and it is having the ability, or being a woman of your word, being somebody who keeps your word. So if you say you're going to do something, you want to make sure that you follow through and you actually do it. So an example again would be, I'm scheduled to do my show, the Take a Stand show, every single Thursday. Come rain or shine, the show will go on. So I need to make sure that I front up regardless of whether or not a guest is able to show up or not, regardless of what's going on. I have the commitment. I've made the commitment and the promise to an audience that I will actually be here. So being a woman of our word will create more opportunities than you can ever imagine, because you then become trustworthy. You're then somebody that other people you're reliable. People can rely on you to show up and do the things that you say you're going to do. The other thing that is really can often be a little bit challenging when you're in business is that, particularly if you're somebody who falls into the category of a people pleaser, who wants to please everybody all the time. And if you are somebody who really is in that category, then sometimes it may be this particular one is challenging, because you want to say yes to everybody. You want to say, yes, 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 I can do that. But often our want to please everybody and our desire to over-deliver sometimes can be our undoing. So we need to be very aware in creating boundaries for ourselves and ensuring that we're able to actually fulfill the commitments that we agree to. So really important that we do that. So being somebody a woman of your word, and, believe it or not, the unfortunate thing is that most people break promises. And if you think, even if you're really real with yourself right now and you think about, gosh, how many times have I promised something and then I haven't been able to deliver? So just being really intentional with, when you say yes, being able to front up and actually do that task and do it in the time frame and the way in which you have promised it in the first place is really, really important. And sort of stepping away from that need or want to have to please everybody at the outset and saying, yes, I can do that, and yes, I will fulfill, and then later on down the track, for whatever reason, not being able to do it. So I just wanted to cover off those three really important things, and I want you guys to sit and simmer on those for a little bit. I want you to ask yourself, do you ever find yourself saying, I'm not good at sales, I'm just not good at that? If that is the case, the action that you need to take is, it's a mindset shift, and maybe you need to get some assistance and enlist the help of a coach that can help coach you to improve your sales ability and also your internal belief system, so that you can start transforming that, so that you are somebody who says, I embrace the opportunity to talk to somebody about my product and my service. I embrace that, and I want to do it on a regular basis. So that would be the action that I would encourage you to take if you were somebody who needed to up the ante on your sales skills. The second, my advice would be the same. If you are also somebody who may be sitting thinking, oh my God, that would just freak me right out if somebody said to me, hey, I've got to jump on and I want you to talk about your product, and now is your time, and I'm going to put you in the spotlight right in this moment. Or maybe you had a show scheduled and your guest wasn't able to turn up at that particular moment. You had to reschedule. Would you be able to just jump in and be able to talk about a particular topic? If the answer is no, again, you may wish to get some assistance with that, because, like I've mentioned in the guts of this conversation today, is that that becomes a huge opportunity for you to be able to showcase your skill set, showcase your experience and also your knowledge really quickly without you necessarily having to spend a lot of money on advertising. And then that third thing, just being a woman of your word, being somebody who is willing to stand up, stand firm, and stand out, but by actually following through and following through on the commitments that you've made and being somebody who keeps to your word. So I want to say those are my 3 tips for today. And if you want to learn more about the other, there's 13 of these, I'm just going to just double check that. Yeah, there's actually 12. There's 12 of these skills that we have uncovered and we've given you some detail about inside of the She Myth book. And I want to make sure that you're able to not only understand those 3 that we've spoken about today, but you understand the other 9 skills that you need to adopt to become a CEO and a very successful businesswoman who is a champion at what they do. So I want to say, I can see that I've got a few people watching me today. I want to say hello to all of our viewers. I want to say thank you very much for joining me today. And I want to say thank you very much for your patience, because I was a little bit late in airing the show today, because as you now know, we had to make a really quick pivot and change the show up completely with a completely different topic. But let me tell you that Vivian will be back a little bit later on in the month, and we will be sure to share with you, oh my God, all of her wisdom, all of the wonderful things that she has done. And if you are somebody who really has a burning desire to create something that's philanthropic in your life and in your business, then I would just hang about, keep watching, because I will let you know when Vivian Glick is going to be back on the show, and we will be uncovering everything that she has done over the last 20 years and how she's become the successful, inspirational woman that she is today. So I'm going to leave you with that. I will be back again with another episode of Take a Stand. I've got another amazing guest next week, which I'm really excited to share with you too. But just keep your eyes and ears peeled, because you'll see the promo come out about that over the coming days. And like I said, I'll be back again. It will be our regular scheduled time, unless, of course, I have to make a pivot at the last moment and come up with a completely different topic, which you know I will. So in any event, the show will continue to go on. So as I always say at the end of this show, it is your time to stand up, stand firm, and stand out in this world of business. So go forth and do that, my lovely woman, my sisters out there who are making a real difference to the world. So thank you so much for watching today. I'll be back again on Thursday with another episode of the Take a Stand show, 10 a.m. Brisbane time, right here on Facebook, on YouTube, and also in LinkedIn, the places that you'll be able to find me. So I want to say thanks for watching and bye for now. See you guys.